Hey, everybody, welcome back. Another episode here. Banish the Doubt. I am George McNamara. In this episode, in this video, what I want to talk about is how our thoughts and perceptions of ourself are formed. Precisely, most of that is from how we are observed by our parents and by those around us. I've spoken in previous videos about how we as children, as infants, and then children through the first 12 years of our life, observe and then build of this foundation of an image, of a self-image of ourself by the observing. But this I want to talk about observed, how people, how our families, our parents observed us. And this is from I believe it's either Joe Dispenza or Gabor Mate. It says this: the human mind is a transmitting and receiving system. It says we don't see a child for who they are. We see a child through our anxieties and our expectations of who they should be. So they lose their connection, excuse me, to themselves. Now, on a broader scale, and you've heard me say in previous videos that I believe this world, this culture is very toxic. And this, for me, was on full display just a couple of days ago. I happened to tune into the US Open Golf Championship. And one of the premier players, probably one of the top 20 in the world, this player was talking, and he has won 5 what they call major championships in the sport. Many players win maybe one in their career, so it gives you an idea of how challenging it is to win these championships. However, he was recently married and had a child, so his play sort of leveled off, if you will. That's not why I'm bringing this up. The reason I'm bringing it up is because in a press conference after the first round, in which he did very well, he was talking and he went on to say the following. He said, yeah, these last several months, I believe it was months or maybe even longer than that, he said, I wasn't the type of person you wanted to be around. He said, I was pretty miserable. And he said, I'm sure, my wife felt it. I want to apologize to my wife and then different people. And then he says, my son. And that's where I stopped. And I thought, this is such a, uh, such a, an idea of, or an example of just how toxic our culture is. No self-awareness, none. I'm not doing well, so you guys are going to feel the wrath. And then my son, okay, I'm going to see him through the anxieties and the expectations. Not so much of what you should be, but he, the boy, this child, who I believe maybe is only a year or two old, is going to observe this and then internalize this. Say, well, dad had a bad day at the office. He brings that home with him. So to me, this is a stark example of just how toxic and how wounded we are. Because if you were to take this person and trace back his life when he was a young child, who was it in his world that he felt his acceptance was conditional? Because what he's saying there is, if I'm not producing, if I'm not measuring up, then I'm miserable. I'm a failure or whatever else is going on in his mind. This is why I make these videos, to banish the doubt that I am not enough, that I have to measure up to a certain level or exceed that in order to be accepted. What we don't realize is we are infecting the minds of the youth. This particular person I'm talking about has generational wealth. He has accumulated generational wealth. He has earned that on they call it the tour. And for me, I would have said, you're banned from marriage, or maybe not so much marriage, but bringing a children into this world, if this is your mindset. But then the camera switched to the panel of the host of the Golf Channel and other former players. And what they said was, well, that's a very interesting press conference there with, and he filled in the name of the player. Not a one said, that's because nobody has the type of thinking, that awareness type of thinking. You see, so in this culture, in this society, that is that's we're going to put him on a pedestal, this particular player, and this behavior is going to be enhanced, or there's a word, it'll come to me, what I'm trying to say here, enabled. That's the word. Our society enables this and celebrates this type of behavior. Now, this person I'm talking about clearly had some sort of childhood trauma that was on full display, but yet they don't understand. You see? So, how I want to also show this to you is in this make believe that this is a bubble, okay? And the little figurines here in black are 98 out of every 100 people are represented here. They're living in this bubble and they don't even realize it. This bubble of expectation, this bubble of competition, this bubble of comparison. Okay. And these other different colored ones are people like us, well, let's say us, but people who have understood and then say, well, I'm going to come outside. I'm leaving the bubble. My awareness is starting to grow, starting to expand. And I'm starting to see that, and I put these in black because they're asleep. Okay. The majority of society is asleep to this understanding of self-awareness. But I'm about 8.5 minutes into this video. If you're still watching, then you're one of the people that is searching for. And if you are, understanding on how to come outside of this, how to leave the bubble of this toxic culture that we live in, and start to understand that it has nothing to do with external. It has everything to do with how you think of yourself and how you see yourself and how we heal ourselves by doing this. So if you are watching this and you are somebody who has been looking for ideas or for techniques and ways to break through and leave this bubble and live the life that you came here to live. Live a life free of this type of codependent thinking, this type of limited thinking, this type of thinking that says, I have to compare myself here with others. I have to compare myself with others, and they're all the same people. If you're looking to do that, Go to my channel, click on the link that says Coach Geo, and let's work together and start to look at different techniques and traits and things that we can do to help us to become more people. We ourselves come out of the bubble and we start to live harmoniously. We start to live and attach to, reconnect to source energy, who we truly are, who we always have been. In this way, and if you are somebody watching this and you can recognize what the other man said about, yeah, I bring those, or even, guy or girl, I'm guilty of doing that. And unconsciously infecting others around you, and your most importantly, your children, then let's work together because your life and their lives truly depend upon it. Thank you.